Welcome. Welcome back for another motherfucking episode. It is Sunday, March 9th of 2025, and you're watching the One More Round live chat. I'm your host, Gav. I do this shit every single Sunday unless I'm banned by YouTube. I give you guys picks, parlays, tips, tricks, all that shit. Yes, sir. And guess what? Another week, we done hit. That's what's up. Hit us on social, scan the QR code below, scan that QR code on the left for the main card minute. That is where we do our full card watch alongs for UFC numbered events and our main card watch alongs for the others. Also, check out some cool bets, parlays, tips. He's got shit for you all week. So go check out the main card minute. And if you scan that QR code on the right, you got here One More Round fights where I give you fight simulations. I give you parlays for the weekend. I give you news. I give you everything. I'm all encompassing, baby. Please follow on social, YouTube, One More Round Fights, One More Round Fights on Twitch, fucking Instagram, TikTok, all that shit. And it's One More Round F8 on sorry, on X. I forget what it's called sometimes because it used to be Twitter. But it's One More Round F8 on there because they have a character limit. So fuck you, X, fuck you, Twitter, whatever. If you got some wins, please send them in. One More Round Fights at gmail.com. I want to see them wins. I want to see that cash. I don't want to be the only one making money, guys. I want you to make money too. So please send them in to One More Round Fights at gmail.com. I want to show you off like one of my French whores. Okay. And shout out to our sponsor, W.GG. Use promo code One More Round for 10% off. That is promo code One More Round for 10% off. We got a jam-packed show today. I ain't gonna lie to you. It doesn't seem like there's a lot because you guys might have missed some of the boxing that happened. But, you know, we got a new promotion coming up. We got a new champion that happened. You know, a lot of shit happened. I'm just saying. So without, let me see the comments. Melkar in the house. Melkar says, what up, OG? We still not sober, are we? Hell the fuck no. Why the fuck are we sober? I don't need to be. I function perfectly just fine the way I am. Anyways. Let's get into our first topic, all right? Ankalaev defeats Pereira by unanimous decision. Wow. I was completely wrong on this one. I was completely wrong. I didn't think if it was a close decision, they would give it to the more boring, less established, less popular guy. I was wrong. Magomed Ankalaev is our new light heavyweight champ and new. Poatan just was a step slow, couldn't find his marks well, was going backwards a lot, which we're not used to seeing Poatan do at a more than 50% clip. So that was interesting to see. And the most interesting thing about this entire fight is that Magomed Ankalaev shot 12 times, didn't get a single takedown, and still managed to win just about 4 out of the 5 rounds in this fight. So that was crazy in itself. Magomed Ankalaev proved us all wrong. He proved that he really was the kryptonite to Alex Poatan Pereira, and he shut us all the fuck up. Now, shout out to Luke on the main card minute. He was one of the only people that I recognized that was fully going for Ankalaev weeks prior. He was Ankalaev all day. And I was like, what's wrong with this dude? Does he not know who Poatan is? But motherfucker was right. Motherfucker Jones was right, man. Magomed Ankalaev beats Alex Pereira and is now our our light heavyweight champ. Now, if you want to really break it down, round 1 it's probably a Poatan round. It was his best looking round. Landed a couple of shots. He was advancing a little more in that round. Round 2 is when the tide started to turn. Round 2 is actually when I cashed out my parlay. I had a parlay with Poatan as the final leg. And after that round 2, after what I seen Magomed Ankalaev do when he hurt him at the end, when he hit him with that uppercut, I believe it was. If it wasn't an uppercut, it was a hook. But he hit him in close range and hurt him right at the end of that round too. And as soon as I saw that, I was like, oh, fuck that. Let me go cash my goddamn money out. So that's what I did. And I thought at the time, I was talking to Luke on stream. I was like, oh, was that crazy? Did I make a rash move right there? Should I have not done that? Can Poatan still win this? But it turned out that I actually made the exact right move at the exact right time, because it didn't get better from there. It was all downhill for Poatan. I don't think he won a single round from there. I don't think he won round 3. I don't think he won round 4. And there's a case to be made that he won round 5, but I don't think he won round 5 either. So Magomed Ankalaev put on a complete performance, kind of, even though he didn't really get the takedown. He threatened the takedown, and that was enough to make Alex Pereira timid enough to not throw in the volume that he normally throws. And that was Magomed Ankalaev's route to victory. And that is what ultimately made him the champion. Now, what's next for both guys? What's next for both guys, you say? Well, I got something for you, Magomed Ankalaev. And his name is Jiri Prochazka. Jiri Prochazka should be next in line. Now, I know you got other names. I know you got like names like Jan Blachowicz, Alexander Rakic, Poatan rematch. I hear all these. I got plans for you, Poatan. Get out of light heavyweight. Don't worry about that. So we do the Jiri fight versus Magomed Ankalaev. Fresh new matchup, something we haven't seen yet. That would be fun. Chance for Jiri to get his title back. Chance for Magomed Ankalaev to take out another former champion. That would be great. So I say we walk Jiri Prochazka in there. Now, after the Jiri Prochazka fight, if Magomed Ankalaev so happens to win, now we give him the Jan Blachowicz rematch. If Jan Blachowicz wins in his fight against, I believe, Carlos Ulberg, if he wins his fight. If he doesn't win his fight, then obviously Carlos Ulberg should be next in line. So no matter what, we got Jiri next, and then the winner of Blachowicz. And yeah, that's what I see next. Now for Alex Pereira, you did a great run at middleweight, then you lost. Then you moved up to light heavyweight. You did a great run at light heavyweight, then you lost. What is the next perfect move in succession to make? Yeah, we're going to go up to heavyweight, and we're going to take on the winner of Tom Aspinall and John motherfucking Jones. That's why I wore this shirt today, baby. So yeah, we're going to take on the winner of John Jones and Tom Aspinall. Poatan, take time off, relax, work on that takedown defense, build some muscle, get your body and your frame ready for heavyweight, because I think that's where you should remain for the rest of your career. Now, you could do whatever the fuck you want. You're Alex Pereira. You call the shots. But I'm just saying, if you want to eat good, my boy, and do something that nobody else has done in the UFC, get a belt in 3 weight classes, I think you should take my advice. I'm just saying. I think I'm giving great advice right now. Matter of fact, fire management, hit me up because I'm spitting fire right now. Melker says, I'd like to describe myself as critical but stable at all times. And he says, I thought Magomed could win a decision, but through a boring takedown spamming and controlling routine, not by actually standing with Poatan. Yeah, he surprised us all, man. That's why I'm excited for him. I'm excited for him. He has plenty of matchups left open for him. He is undoubtedly the undisputed champ. And he doesn't need to go to heavyweight. He's fine at eating up people at light heavyweight and becoming a champ there and creating a great name for himself. So let Poatan go up to heavyweight, do his thing, build his frame, get a good fight in by the end of the year. I say Poatan, final card of the year at heavyweight. That's what I'm thinking. Whoever wins with Tom Aspinall and John Jones, that'll probably be in the summertime. Let them enjoy the spoils of their victory for about a half a year. December time, or even in New York, final card for John Jones to end his career on a Poatan fight, or if he beats Aspinall, or end of the year card for Poatan and Aspinall, that December card. You know, I'm out here spitting heat. So just keep those in mind. But both of those guys, they have definite clear paths to what they should do. Now, if we can't get Poatan the winner of Jones and Aspinall, and he wants to stay active, and he just wants to go right to heavyweight, he's like, yo, fuck that. I feel like I was doing good that fight. and I don't really like the way that loss tasted in my mouth. I want to go up and I want to fight someone now. You know who he fights? Cyril Gane. Perfecto. Cyril Gane, tactician striker at heavyweight. Alex Pereira, strong striker. I'd love to see how they clash. I'd love to see what happens there. Is Gane too much? Is he too quick? Is he too nimble on his feet? Is he too powerful? Or can Poatan hang? So I'd love to see that at heavyweight if we don't get him facing the winner of Aspinall and Jones. Melker says Ank hasn't fought Yuri, Jamal, or Khalil, so we got some fresh matchups too. Yeah, so Ankalaev just did himself a great service by getting that dubber at light heavyweight and becoming champion, because now he has so many open matchups to do. He's literally pumped life right back into the light heavyweight division. So I'm super excited for the next year, and like the heavyweight classes are fucking on and popping again, yo. I can't wait. This is gonna be fun. 2025 is gonna be fun for the heavy boys. The heavy boys are having fun now. They're like, oh shit, we got new blood up at heavyweight. We got new blood up at light heavyweight. We got matchups that I already haven't lost to. Like there's plenty of things that could happen. Now, if Aspinall wins, heavyweight's gonna be sad because they'd be like, fuck. most of those guys lost to him already. But if Jones wins and Poatan goes up there and fights Jones, it just turned into a fucking party up there, y'all. It just turned into a fucking party. Okay, moving on. Next topic. Justin Gaethje defeats Rafael Fiziev in the rematch by unanimous decision. I told you. I mean, why was Fiziev the favorite? The books did themselves a disservice here, because as soon as those lines came out, I texted Luke right away. I texted my friends right away. I said, everybody, go bet your Justin Gaethje bets now. He's not going to be a dog for much longer. And boy, the fuck was I wrong, because he was a dog. He stayed a dog, and his dog numbers rose because he went from plus 105 to plus 110, and I ended up getting him at plus 130. So, yeah, Justin Gaethje. Shout out to Justin Gaethje. Shout out to Trevor Whitman. Shout out to that whole team. Great performance. Staying in there for another decision win, like we predicted, like they did in the first fight. Shout out to Rafael Fiziev for taking the fight in the first place. He took it on 8 days' notice in a fight that he knew he already lost and had a big disadvantage in trying to win again, but he just wanted to get back in there. 533 days since his last fight. That's a long fucking time, man. So, the fact that this was the first fight that from what he said was offered to him on his terms, and it had to be an 8-day fight against a guy that already beat him on a co-main event on a huge card. That's a lot of pressure, man. Shout out to Rafael Fiziev for not crumbling under it. That was crazy. One thing I wanted to mention in this fight went almost exactly the way that the first one did, sans the takedown in round 3. Yeah, you know, it's Fiziev early and Gaethje late. Gaethje drops him, I believe, in round 2. So that was nice. Got a nice little uppercut drop. And then put some work on him in round 3. Got him up against the fence. Just used his gas tank against him because he knew he was the fresher fighter. He had a full camp. Fiziev did not. One thing I did want to mention is that during this fight, you could noticeably see that Gaethje's gloves were different than every other fighters on the card. Now, Justin Gaethje, like in this picture here, had no UFC logo on his gloves. No UFC logo. Seems that it was either melted off, painted over, taped over, something, but the UFC was not apparent on his gloves. And you can see on Fiziev right there that the UFC is on his. So that was interesting to see. I didn't understand that. I didn't understand why that was done or why that was allowed, or what the motives behind it was. I know Trevor Whitman has his own brand, and I know that in the embedded videos, they are now blurring his brands out. So it could have something to do with that. But the fact that you're allowed to just simply take the promotion's marketing off the gloves if you want. That's interesting. It's an interesting line to toe, especially when you're campaigning for a title shot for their belt. I'm not saying either side's right or wrong. I'm just saying it's an interesting time to do that. So yeah. Great performance by Justin Gaethje. He did exactly what he was supposed to do. Choosing to be political right now was an interesting move, especially when there's no clear person to fight for a title, and the people ahead of you have better cases for getting a title shot, especially since one of them has a win over you. So I just don't know why that was done then. I'd really like to know why that was done, or maybe it was just a complete coincidence. I heard there was something about a glove shortage, so maybe that's all they had left. But I mean, if I'm the promotion, wouldn't I make it a point to give one of my co-main event fighters the correct gloves to wear? Like, if I was going to waste some plain black gloves on somebody, I'm wasting it on the Myron Santos and Francis Marshall fight, or the Dos Santos and Ozzy Diaz fight. I'm not wasting it on our co-main event. So yeah, just interesting development there. I'm excited to see what happens with that this week. Hopefully Ariel dives into that. Hopefully Luke and Brian dive into that. Hopefully Luke brings it up if they don't. But yeah, I'm definitely interested to see why his gloves were different than everybody else's. As for matchups next for these guys, Saryukian. I see Saryukian for Gaethje. UFC said they don't want to give Saryukian a title shot, especially since he pulled out, I think, day of on a main event, numbered main event. So maybe Justin Gaethje, Saryukian. Now, if they really don't like Saryukian, they would give him Charles Oliveira and then march Justin Gaethje in there for one last title shot. That's what I'd like to do. I'd love to see Gaethje with a second crack. It's a much different fight against Islam Makhachev. So I wouldn't mind if they marched Gaethje in for a title shot right there. I wouldn't mind one little bit. He was a BMF champion, so he carries a belt. He was an interim UFC champion, so he carries that. I could definitely see a world where Justin Gaethje gets the next title shot. But if not, I think Saryukian's waiting right there for him. That would be a fun fight. That'd be a fun fight. Now for Fiziev, I only like two matchups for my boy here. I like the Mateusz Gamrot fight. Mateusz Gamrot, that's a great fight. They have beef. They were talking back and forth. They said Fiziev says that Fiziev says that Gamrot has been running away from him, that he's denying his fight, that he didn't want to take a fight against him. So that would be interesting to see. But the name that I'd most like to see, that would be such a fun fight, Dan Hooker. Dan Hooker was supposed to be the original co-main event against Justin Gaethje. He fell out because of a hand injury. Hand injury is going to take a little time, especially with his style of fighting. So Fiziev's going to have to take a little time off, especially since I think he had a nice little cut over his eye. So that's at least a 60-day suspension. 30. And I'd like to see that fight next. Two fun strikers ready to go at it. Fiziev doesn't dip his head as much as Gaethje, so not as good of a matchup for Hooker. I think Hooker against Gaethje, I would have leaned more Hooker. But the fact that Gaethje won against Fiziev catapults him. He doesn't need to fight Hooker anymore, unfortunately for Hooker. Hooker's going to need something else in the future, and it's Fiziev or like McGregor. But Hooker pretty much lost this Gaethje matchup. The only way I see this matchup happening again is if Gaethje loses for the title and wants one last fun matchup to end his career. But I think that Hooker matchup is dead in the water. And that's it. And that's what I see for both dudes. Let's check these comments. Melker in the house. He says, ain't a no-brainer. Wait, so it's a no-brainer fight. The Diamond versus the Highlight 3. 5 rounds of war to see who's the best action fighter of their era. They could both retire after that fight. I fucking love that fight, actually. That fight's fire. Yeah, fuck that Hooker fight. as his retirement fight. I'd love to see the Poirier fight again. They're each 1-1 against each other. Poirier won the first. Gaethje knocked him out the second time. I'd love to see the trilogy. And if it happened to be in Louisiana, I mean, that would be great. But I kind of doubt that if Gaethje has a possible title shot on the line, that he'll take that fight. But if in fact that title shot goes to someone else, that fight could definitely happen. I definitely see that fight happening for sure. That was weird. Let me take a sip of water because we're about to do something. We're about to get into my favorite. No, I'm just kidding. Not my favorite. But we're about to do something we haven't done in a little bit. That's right. We're going to do our fighter spotlight of the week, baby. And there is only one person on this card deserved of this here fighter spotlight. This man pulled off one of the craziest strikes that we've ever seen in the UFC. A spinning wheel kick, knocking out a UFC veteran who is notoriously hard to knock out. This man wears dope black glasses with white taped around the nose. He comes from the Fighting Nerds team. His name is Mauricio Ruffy. Mauricio Hoofy, however you want to say it. Now, his real name is Mauricio Santos. The reason he has his Ruffy name is because of an anime cartoon that he likes where the guy's name is Luffy. So he changed his to Ruffy. So we're going to call him that because Brazilians can kind of do whatever the hell they want in the UFC with their last names. Brachinha, Hoofy, whatever you want to do. You guys can do whatever the hell you want. No holds barred over here. But let's talk about him. Like I said, Mauricio Ruffy trains out of Fighting Nerds. He's been training there since 2016. Not that long, man. Not that long. Just under a decade. And he's already here making waves like this in the UFC. Okay. Now he trains out of Sao Paulo, Brazil. He's 28 years old, born June 17th, 1996. He's 5'11" in the lightweight class. He's got a 72-inch reach and he fights orthodox. He's 12-1, 11 KOs and 1 decision. That lone decision coming in his previous fight before this one. Now, let's talk about Hoofy. He was an 8-1 guy before fighting on the Contender Series, okay? That was his record on the regional scenes. All right? This was all in Brazil. Now, let's look at his record, okay? His first fight, Marlon Paulo de Souza, knocks him out at Premium Fight Championship 6, September 18th of 2016. That's round 1, and he did it in 30 seconds. Okay? That was his lightweight debut. Then he takes on Vincent Santos, another TKO. Gold Fight 9, August 26th of 2017. Another first-round knockout, this time in 1 minute. 1 minute and 4 seconds. This was also in Sao Paulo. Then he takes on Lucas Costa Jesus, knocks him out with elbows at Batalha MMA 13, June 30th of 2018. So he's fighting about once a year at this point. Not too active, but still making waves because he's getting quick finishes. Then he takes on Rafael Silva, Standout Fighting Tournament 8. Surprise, surprise, another knockout. This was in December 15th, 2018. This was a round 2 knockout. 1 minute, 8 seconds. This was a catchweight bout. Then he goes back to super lightweight. Sorry, he goes to super lightweight, not back, where he wins the MFC Super Lightweight Championship. This is Mega Fight Championship 2. He knocks out Dorian Marinho, June 22nd, 2019, round 1, 3 minutes and 35 seconds. At this point, he's feeling real good. He's 5-0 on the regional scene. He's doing real good. He's got a super lightweight championship. He goes back down to lightweight and takes the first loss of his career. He loses to Manuel Souza. He gets knocked out himself. A little bit too much showboating. He gets knocked out at Standout Fighting Tournament 18. This is in November 13th of 2019. Round 2, 2 minutes and 41 seconds in Sao Paulo, Brazil. So you can imagine that this one stings. Now he comes back with a fire under him because guess how long he takes off after that KO? Smartly, he takes off just under 3 years. Almost 3 years he stays away from fighting after that KO. Okay. He comes back at Arena Pride MMA 4. He takes on Breno Luis Gonçalves. Sorry. June 26th of 2022. He gets a first round knockout, 1 minute and 26 seconds in Santos, Brazil. Mauricio Ruffy's back after 3 years. He didn't fight from November 13th of 2019 all the way into June 26th of 2022. Okay. Now, the pandemic obviously could have a factor there. Many things could have played a factor there. The fact is, he took a lot of time off, and honestly, it may have been super beneficial to his career because this whole time he's training his craft. He's with fighting nerds, sharpening iron with killers like Caio Borralho, Gene Silva, Carlos Pradas, Bruno Brazil. He's getting in rounds with all of these people, getting all their tips, tricks, right? Then we take on Cornelius Rotaru Lascar, TKO punches, Centurion FC, Rex Redemptor, May 26, 2023, in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. This was his welterweight debut. This was a night where he took 2 fights in one night. 2 fights in one night. He had to fight the tournament semifinal and the final. Like I said, in the semifinal, he knocks out Lasker round 1, 4 minutes and 23 seconds. And guess what? He wins the tournament. He knocks out Jonas Torres, UFC veteran Jonas Torres, TKO round 2, 4 minutes and 21 seconds. He wins the Centurion FC welterweight tournament and becomes the Centurion FC welterweight champion. Okay, moving on. He gets his debut in the UFC. Not quite in the UFC, but on Dana White's Tuesday Night Contender Series. He takes on Raymond Magomedaliev. All right, this was October 3rd, 2023. Week 9, Season 7 of DWCS. Okay, he wins the fight, 3rd round technical knockout. And guess what? History was made. Mauricio Ruffy was signed to the UFC and given a contract by Dana White. Now, as you know, from there, we've been getting highlight after highlight from our boy Mauricio from the Fighting Nerds. He knocks out Jamie Malarkey at UFC 301, May 4th, 2024, round 1, 4 minutes and 42 seconds in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. That was his return to lightweight, and he gets himself a performance of the night bonus. Then he takes on James Lontop, as we previously talked about. Now, James Lontop was a replacement opponent. He was originally supposed to fight Charlie Campbell at UFC 309, November 16, 2024, but Charlie Campbell withdrew from the fight. James Lontop took the fight on short notice, missed weight, ended up being a catch weight bout of 165 pounds. Lontop weighed in 1.2 pounds over the limit and was fined 20% of his purse, unrightfully so, because he was a replacement fighter. I mean, can we have a little leeway? Why are we taking away fighters' purses if they're coming in on short notice? So I didn't like that about that James Lontop fight, but it's okay. The fight went the distance. The only fight that Mauricio Ruffy has gone the distance. And yeah, the only time he ever needed the scorecards, because that brings us to this past Saturday, guys, in which he took on Bobby King Green at UFC 313, March 8th, 2025. And my man Mauricio Ruffy pulls out a spinning wheel kick like he's vintage Edson Barbosa and knocks out Bobby Green with only 2 minutes in round 1 in Las Vegas and gets himself a performance of the night bonus. Mauricio Ruffy, the Fighting Nerds, Caio Borralho, Gene Silva, Carlos Pradas, Bruno Brazil, all the Fighting Nerd superheroes. They're here, and they're here to fucking stay. Fighting Nerds is your new IT team. Remember how we talked about CKB a couple years ago? Remember? That's Fighting Nerds right now. Wake the fuck up. Wake the fuck up, y'all. It's Fighting Nerds or nothing. Yeah. Mauricio Ruffy. What a beast win. Minus 500 favorite. And rightfully so, because he got the spinning wheel KO of Bobby Green. Something that I didn't see coming. I called the decision, but hey, stars have to be made somehow. And he made himself a star at UFC 313. So shout out to Mauricio Ruffy Santos. He is my fighter spotlight of the week, and deservedly so. Shout out to Fighting Nerds. Shout out to Gene Silva, Carlos Pradas, Kyle Baralho, Bruno Brazil. Shout out to Sao Paulo, Brazil. You got one. You got one. Moving on. UFC 313 results. UFC 313 results. Let's go over the rest of the card. Let's go over the rest of this card. Oh, also about Ruffy. He's announcing plans to expand his team, Fighting Nerds. He's opening a training facility in New Hampshire. New Hampshire. So yeah, we got a new team in the northeast of the U.S., guys. Fighting Nerds is coming to the U.S., where they're starting a facility in New Hampshire. So I'm excited to see that. UFC 313 results. Jalen Turner retires, guys. He loses to Ignacio Bahamondes via submission triangle choke, round 1, 2 minutes 29 seconds. Now, the retirement did come somewhat a surprise to all of us because Jalen Turner is only 29 years of age. He was born May 18th of 1995. Okay? He's only 29 and he just retired from MMA. So that leads me to believe a couple things. I think the damage has been too much. And I believe that he doesn't think he has it anymore. Now, I could be completely wrong, but I mean, he's a KO to Ronnie Borgia, KO to Richard Leroy, vicious KO to Vicente Luque, taking blows from Matt Favola in his loss, taking blows from Brad Riddell, even though he won that fight, taking blows from Dan Hooker, even though he did lose that fight to Dan Hooker. The Bobby Green fight he did well in, but taking blows from Renato Moicano. And then Ignacio Bahamondes subbing him. I mean, it's tough. And you got to think that, oh, maybe he can go up and weight. I mean, he did that. Though it was a short notice fight to Vicente Luque, he went up to welterweight and fought Vicente Luque and got viciously KO'd. And Vicente Luque's up there getting KO'd by people. So you can only imagine how Jalen Turner would feel about changing weight classes, and he cannot go down. He is as big as he can possibly be at 55. So I definitely can understand this retirement. Shout out to Jalen Turner. He gave us fun fights no matter what. No matter what. Every single fight that I can see that he was in, I was like, oh yeah, that was a fun fight. Joshua Cool about fun fight. Matt Favola, fun fight. Vicente Luque, as long as it lasted, fun fight. Uros Medic, fun fight. Brad Riddell, Dan Hooker, Bobby Green, Renato Moicano, all fun fights. So shout out to Jalen Turner. Great career he had. And shout out to Ignacio Bahamondes. Great win. Only 27 years of age. Trains with Bilal Muhammad. He's on a 3-fight win streak now, taking out Christos Yagos, Manuel Torres, and now Jalen Turner. He's going to set himself up for a big fight next. He just got ranked, people. Jalen Turner was number 13. So Ignacio Bahamondes is looking at these UFC rankings and doing the Mr. fucking Burns. Okay. He is ready. He's like, oh yeah. He's got Benoit Saint Denis, Grant Dawson, Patty Pimblett, Rafael Fiziev just fought on the same card as him. There's plenty of matchups. Plenty of matchups for Ignacio Bahamondes. So I'm glad to see that he got a nice win, didn't take any damage, so he could get right back in there. You'll love to see that out of a young guy. 27 years of age, like I said. Moving down, Amanda Lemos defeats Yasmin Lucindo. Unanimous decision, 29-28 across the board. My simulation was wrong. What can I say? Simulation was wrong. Yasmin Lucindo, not there quite yet. She got beat up every single round. I thought this was 30-27. I mean, she did take her down in that round 3, but then she got swept and ended up on bottom for a majority of the end of that round. So I was like, man, she really just didn't do shit. Didn't impress me in any single way. Amanda Lemos solidified her spot at women's strawweight. The rankings there would, I guess, nothing happens. I mean, Lemos was 5 and Lucinda was 7. Nobody Lucindo definitely shouldn't move up after that. And Lemos doesn't deserve to go up after that. She got standing arm triangled by Jessica Andrade, who sits at number 4. So that fight was a wash. It could have never happened and we would have been fine. No offense to either fighter. But it wasn't the greatest fight of the night. And the stakes were incredibly and remarkably low. So, yeah, a new fight for Amanda Lemos. I'd love to see her rematch, Jessica Andrade. I'd love to see that rematch. Now, if she doesn't want to do that, a Tatiana Suarez fight would be fun as well. Let's see if she could stop the grappling of Tatiana Suarez like Whaley did. If she can't, it is what it is. And Lucindo Hibas or Lucindo Rodriguez rematch. That's what I want to see. Those are the only things I want to see. Yeah. Moving on. We already talked about Hufin Green. Joshua Van, Ray Saruya. Joshua Van just put hands on his boy for 3 whole rounds. Now his pace was stopped. Joshua Van used to throwing like 9 strikes per minute. Definitely wasn't that. Ray Saruya did a great job of shooting a lot, making Joshua Van think enough to stop his volume of strikes. So that was a great win for Joshua Van. Flyweight's got another soaring guy. You figured out who was the best prospect out of the two. And Ray Saruya lost his O. He is now, I think, 10-1. At middleweight, Bruno Ferreira defeats Armin Petrosian. Submission, triangle armbar, round 2, 4 minutes and 27 seconds. No one had that. No one had that. No one had submission from Bruno Ferreira. What? What a win for him. He's known for gassing or knocking people out in round 1. And he gets a sub in round 2. Kudos. Showing you're well-rounded. Big respect to Bruno Ferreira. He's going to get a good fight at middleweight next. Carlos Leal put these motherfucking hands on Alex Morono. My Lord, he blasted this man to the moon. He just kept hitting him. Morono was running away, flailing his arms out, hands out. He didn't know what to do because Carlos Leal was just throwing barrage after barrage after barrage of punches at him. It was crazy. I almost felt bad for Morono at one point because I've been that guy in the gym, just taking those punches, just don't even know where they're coming from at some points. You're just like, fuck it. I'm just going to keep the arms up. Bro, that's what he was doing. And he just got eaten alive by Leal. Just eaten alive. I knew Leal was going to win because he got robbed in his first UFC fight and he didn't want to leave that to the judges again. I knew he was going to go hard. And that's what he did. Myron Santos defeats Francis Marshall. Split decision, 27-30, 29-28, 29-28. Now, I'm not going to say robbery because we won money because of this fight. But Francis Marshall definitely deserved a win. He definitely deserved a win on Saturday night. Now, he didn't get one. Unfortunately so. Myron Santos really never was able to implement his full game plan. He kept getting taken down. He kept getting his back taken. He kept eating good punches. And he even got dropped in round 1. So Francis Marshall, I feel for the guy. He fought a great fight. He's at a new camp over with Mike Brown at ATT. But Myron Santos leaves as the victor. And then our early prelim, Ozzy Diaz defeated Jordan Ribeiro dos Santos at middleweight, 29-28 across the board. It was an okay fight. I believe Santos did enough to win the fight, but they gave it to Diaz. I'm not mad about it. I mean, it could have went either way. Ozzy Diaz fought a great fight. I believe he trains with EKC Leiden. Shout out to EKC. Shout out to Esther Lynn. Shout out to the whole MMA fighting squad. But yeah, that was our card. If you guys want to know about the bonuses, fight of the night obviously went to Justin Gaethje, Rafael Fiziev, $50K to each of those boys. Thank you to Rafael Fiziev for taking the fight and giving us such an entertaining co-main event. You deserve that $50,000. And performance of the night bonuses went to Ignacio Bahamondes for that submission of Jalen Turner, effectively retiring him. And how the fuck do you not give 50K to Mauricio Ruffy, Santos? Okay? Spinning wheel kick. If that didn't, he probably got 100. Uncle Dana probably pulled up to that locker room, said, hey, appreciate you for that highlight. We're going to have that one for a long, long time. And dropped him off another 50K. I wouldn't be surprised if that happened. Okay? But yeah, those were the bonuses of the night. And that was my coverage of UFC 313, motherfuckers. We're moving on to boxing. This past week, we got a new boxing promotion announced. TKO has officially announced that they're venturing into boxing with Turki Al-Sheikh. Okay? We may get some cool shit in boxing and MMA this year. We got the GFL doing new stuff in MMA. We got TKO doing cool stuff in boxing. Now, Turki Al-Sheikh, the chairman of Saudi Arabia's General Entertainment Authority, on this past Wednesday announced the creation of a new boxing promotion alongside TKO. If you don't know, TKO is the conglomerate that services the WWE, the UFC, you know, the executive leadership by UFC president Dana White, you know, that kind of stuff. Now they did announce a plan to stage its first event in 2026. We're going to have to wait till 2026 for it, not 2025. But they said it's going to be a highly structured system to develop new talent from around the world, including athlete combines and academies. Boxers will have access to the state-of-the-art UFC Performance Institute with locations in Las Vegas, Mexico City, and Shanghai. It'll be TKO's production and media team that'll handle the in-arena experience and worldwide broadcasts. So a lot of the stuff that we're used to seeing in the UFC broadcasts, we're probably going to see there. Quick replays, not too much fancy stuff on the walkouts, a nice, clean, concise score bug, you know, stuff like that. Moving on, I'm reading through all the bullshit. Here we go. The new venture is just the latest in Saudi Arabia's massive spending on global sports, driven by Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman. Al-Sheikh and Salah, a subsidiary of Saudi Arabia's public investment fund, have staged boxing's top events since October 2023, most famously with Tyson Fury and Ngannou. Riyadh season, if you guys all know, something we're very familiar with in the PFL and boxing. He purchased The Ring this past November, a boxing publication that debuted in 1922. They're going to stage its first card under that banner on May 2nd in Times Square with stars Ryan Garcia, Devin Haney, Teofimo Lopez, all in cyber bouts. So that's going to be Ring's first venture. So we're going to kind of get a sneak peek into maybe the style and how they intend to present their product. So that's going to be pretty cool. But those shows are going to continue in synonymous with these TKO shows, I believe. He's going to launch his boxing league with White and Khan, two titans of combat sports. Al-Sheikh, White, and Khan were number 1s, 2s, and 3s, respectively, on ESPN's September ranking of the most influential figures in the fight game. So if there's any 3 guys to get a new boxing promotion going, it's probably these 3 guys. Just saying. I'm skipping through the bullshit. He says he's going to give the best matchups for the fans. Okay. So everybody knows the format, the best fight the best. Sorry. Dana White says everybody knows the format, the best fight the best. You work your way up the rankings, and once somebody breaks into the top 5, there's no question who the best 5 guys in the world are in each weight class, and they fight it out. And then once somebody holds that belt, you don't need 3 letters in front of that belt. He's taking shots at the WBO, WBC, IBF, all those guys. Whoever has the belt is the best in the world in that weight class. There's not one champion Sorry, there's not 4 champions with 1 belt each for a weight class. There's 1 belt for the weight class. So they intend to fix the structure of boxing, and I'm excited to see what they do with it. I don't know if it'll work, but if it does work, hey, we got some more fights to watch, and I ain't mad at that. So yeah, excited for what Turkey Ali Sheik, Dana White, TKO, The Ring, what they're gonna do with boxing. We'll see if the best do fight the best, and we'll see what happens. But who knows? Who knows? Let's talk about boxing that happened this weekend. We had an all-girl card this past weekend. I don't know if you guys watched, but Natasha Jonas and Lauren Price went at it. Okay, this was 10 rounds for Jonas's WBC and IBF women's welterweight titles and Price's WBA welterweight women's title. And guess what? Lauren Price beat the brakes off that old woman. All right. No offense, but Jonas looked every bit as old as she was, man. Every little bit as old as she was. She's 40 years old. Jonas, 16, 3-1, had 9 KOs. She looked every day of that 40 years old, man. Price just looked fresher. She's now 9-0, 2 KOs. She was effective with the counter and the right hooks. And yeah, the only title that she doesn't hold now is Mikaela Mayer's. That's right. The one that Mikaela Mayer will be defending this coming May. This coming March. She's fighting at the end of the month. My bad. Yeah, so Mikaela Mayer is taking on Sandy Ryan March 29th. She holds the WBO belt. So if Mikaela Mayer wins, we could see Mayer Price next. And I would love to see that. I would love to see Mikaela Mayer take on Lauren Price next. Okay, now Lauren Price looks good in there, man. She's young. She got fight in her. She took it to the champ, and she grabbed those belts and fucking yanked them home. So I'm excited to see what happens for her next. I believe the scores were, what were the scores? Was it 100-90? Was it a blowout? Oh, wow. Oh, wow. I forget. I didn't write down what the scores were, but just know that Lauren Price ran away with it. Okay. Other fight on the card was Caroline Dubois taking on Bomir and Shin. It was 10 rounds for Dubois' WBC women's lightweight title. Dubois gets the majority decision, 95-95, 98-93, 98-92. Don't listen to that 95-95. It was 98-93, 98-92. It was pretty much a Dubois win the whole way throughout. It was a clear win. Now, Dubois 11-0-1, 5 KOs. She did survive a scare in that 10th round. She got cracked by a right hand because Shin was obviously knowing that she was losing the fight, so she had to land something. She did land something, but it wasn't enough. Dubois walks away with the win. And then the other fights on the card, Karis Arstingstal defeats Raven Chapman, unanimous decision. That was 97-92, 98-91, 96-93. Jasmina Zapokhtana defeats Chloe Watson, split decision. This was also a 10-round fight. This was 96-94, 97-93, 96-95. And then Francesca Hennessy, shout out to Hennessy in the house, wins on points against Gemma Rug. I don't have the scores here, but I think it was 80-72 across the board, I believe. And yeah, that was the Natasha Jonas versus Lauren Price boxing card. All girl card this past weekend. Ladies, I got you. Okay, if nobody's covering you, I got you. No matter how big, no matter how small. Boxing, MMA, I'm going to cover you. I'm going to make sure you get your limelight. I got you. Now, other news in boxing, other boxing notables coming up. I'll go up until that Mikaela Mayer fight. How about we do that? I'm not going to go over everything, but Keith Thurman fights this week. He takes on Brock Jarvis March 12th, Sydney, Australia, 10 rounds at junior middleweight. They're saying this is a stepping stone fight for him. After this fight, he's going to get a big matchup. March 22nd, Las Vegas, Amazon Prime Video, Sebastian Fundora taking on Troydale Booker, 12 rounds for Fundora's WBC and WBO junior lightweight titles. Also on that card, Elijah Garcia taking on Terrell Gaucher, 10 rounds at middleweight. And Jesus Alejandro Ramos Jr. taking on Kevin Salgado, 10 rounds at junior middleweight. March 22nd, also, but on DAZN in Sydney, Australia, George Kambosos Jr. taking on Daoud Yordan, 12 rounds at junior welterweight. We also have a title fight between Sky Nicholson and Tiara Brown, 10 rounds for Nicholson's WBC women's featherweight title, and a title fight between Cherneka Johnson taking on Nina Hughes, 10 rounds for Johnson's WBA women's bantamweight title. And finally, March 29th in Las Vegas on ESPN and ESPN Plus, like I said earlier, Michaela Mayer is taking on Sandy Ryan, 10 rounds for Mayer's WBO welterweight title. Okay? And that does it for me on other boxing notables. Let's see these comments real quick. Let's go. Melker says, does Keith have anything left in the tank, in your opinion? I think he does. His opponent isn't particularly tough, and Keith definitely still has boxing acumen and power in his hands. So I could definitely see him getting a standing TKO, probably late. I'd say maybe 8-9 round standing TKO, and then calling his shots, because Keith Thurman's a fighter like Keith Thurman is good for boxing. He talks a lot of shit. He brings a lot of eyes. He's fun, and he has a fun fighting style. I don't think Keith Thurman's ever been in a boring fight. So yeah, I think Keith Thurman definitely has a lot in the tank left. But let's move on to my favorite segment of the week, baby. That's right. It's time for this week's wins. That's right. This week's wins. What? This week's wins. That's right. This week's wins. Hey, this week's wins. It's a happy week. Because guess what? I cashed. So that must mean that you cashed. Okay? Because I gave out a parlay. And we'll get to that. We'll get to that. But let's start small. We started early with a little Myron Santos. I gave out the Myron Santos pick. He is our one more round fighter. If you want to go back and watch, we have our fighter spotlight on Myron Santos after he won tough. So go check that out. It's actually our least watched fighter spotlight. So if you guys could go show that some love, that would be great. But anyways, Myron Santos got us the win. And I didn't bet hard on it. I bet a little small, but I did bet. And I only bet on one app because DraftKings was being a little bitch to me that night. So yeah, I threw a little Myron Santos, $15 on Myron Santos points at plus 135. It brought back some bread. Nice little 35 piece. We ain't mad at it. We're happy, very happy with it, you know. And then we moved on up the card, you know. We lost on Santos, but we won on Myron Santos. So then we had Carlos Leal Morono. We took Carlos Leal decision. He ended up getting the KO, you know, losing there. Nobody predicted Fajeda's submission, so just ignore that. Then we got Joshua Van, Ray Cerrulla, and I decided to take both guys by decision. I took Ray Cerrulla by decision, Joshua Van by decision. And Joshua Van ended up cashing. Definitely at a lower clip because Ray Cerrulla points was, I believe, 245, plus 245, maybe plus 285. And Joshua Van points was plus 185. So I was very much hoping that the Ray Cerrulla hit, but shout out to Joshua Van because he still brought some bread back, and we ain't mad at it. It covered our loss on the Ray Cerrulla points bet, so whatever. It was still positive. Every positive bet we like to show, so I don't care. And for anybody that was listening, we got to the main card. I had Hoofy decision. He got the KO. You know, I was happy for him, but we lost money there. We also had Lucindo decision. We got screwed there as well. Didn't go our way. We had Bahamondes KO or decision. He ended up subbing him. Didn't go our way. All right. So it was feeling like a bad night. It really was. It was feeling like a bad night. It was feeling like we were going to take our L's. But then I remembered that I had my money line Gaethje bets out. And I had my Gaethje parlays out. And I had my parlay that had just cashed. So I was feeling all right. But to anyone that was going to listen, I was like, early in the week, I was like, yo, take your money. Throw it on Gaethje. Throw it on Gaethje now. He's plus money. I don't know how much longer he's going to stay plus money. And I had 50 on Gaethje, and I cashed it at plus 106. because I wanted to use it on other shit that night because I knew Gaethje was going to win and his odds had inflated. His odds had inflated in the week. So I lost $11 there. Big whoop. Okay? You know why? You know why I don't care? Because I threw the Gaethje money line on both apps. I got him at plus 114 on DraftKings. I got him at plus 130 on FanDuel. Okay. Now that $11, skim that 15 off the top right there. Skim that 7 off the top there. Cover that $11 loss. All right. Who cares? Whatever. All right. We still made money. Shout out to Justin Gaethje for making us some easy bread there. Least sweaty bet of my life. I was so happy to see that. I was like, oh, Gaethje money line? Yo, give me that. Plus money. You guys fucking crazy? You guys crazy? Give me that. And yes, all week I said he was going to win by decision. So you know I'm going to take that. You know I'm going to ride or die. You know I'm going to ride or die. So I had to do it. I had to throw a little bit on that too. Brought back almost another 100. What is that, like 60 something? Almost 70. You know, just had to bring back a little something on that. I wish I bet more on that, really. I don't think I had that much left in the DraftKings app. I cashed out most of my winnings from the parlay. And yeah, I cashed that out. But this is a bet that could have been. This is so, as you know, a couple fights fell off the card. The Chris Gutierrez fight fell off the card. The Curtis Blades fight fell off the card. This was my original one more round parlay. It was going to be a 3-legger. Chris Gutierrez, Myron Santos, Carlos Leal. And I had to call an audible last minute. It was now 2 o'clock. Luke had just texted me. He's like, yo, 2 fights fell off the card. I'm like, oh no, which ones? He's like, Gutierrez. I'm like, no, my parlay. But luckily, I didn't put it in yet. I usually just place them so I can make the graphics, and then I put them in right before the event starts because that's when I get the best odds for me. So I didn't put them in yet. So this is what I gave you, motherfuckers. I gave you Myron Santos, Carlos Leal. I threw in Ruffy in there, and then I went over 2.5 in Joshua Van and Ray Saruya. Guess what, motherfuckers? Hello, motherfucker. It cashed. That's right. It motherfucking cashed right here. God, right hand's too much? No, left hand's too much. There we go. It cashed right motherfucking here. Plus 199. You're welcome if you tailed. You're welcome if you're tailed. Oh, you want to see what I put on it? I went a little smaller this week. Normally, I'm a hundo guy. I go full unit. I went half unit this week. And as you guys know, I actually forgot to put it on DK if you were watching the stream because I'm a dumbass. There was a lot of stuff happening, man. Stuff changed. I thought I did put it on DraftKings already because I made the graphic, but I guess I didn't. And I only put it on FanDuel, but it's okay. So we had a small piece on DraftKings and a big piece on FanDuel. And I used the boost on FanDuel, so I got it plus 281. So I got it even better. I was very happy to see that. But yes, the parlay motherfucking cashed. Let's go, baby. I'm glad to see greens. We all love to see greens, baby. We all love to see greens. Greens are what make the world go round. Let's go. Glad to see it. Thank you to all that tailed. Thank you to all that won. Appreciate you. Don't forget to send your wins in. And I did have another parlay that cashed early in the night. I had a Myron Santos, Bahamondes, Justin Gaethje, and Alex Pereira. After Alex Pereira got dropped in round 2, I cashed out immediately. It turned out to be the best case scenario because if I hadn't cashed out, this cash out wouldn't have been as sweet. And before the fight started, I could have cashed out at 130. So it only dropped $10 after he dropped him in round 2 because Pereira had won round 1. So I wasn't too worried. Ended up working out. It was a good week. I'm happy. Another successful iteration of this week's wins. Thank you to all that played. Appreciate y'all. Yeah, baby. Let's get through these comments. Main card minute in the house. Yeah. Melker says, whoops. Melker says, what up, main card minute? Main card minute says, what up, Melker? Melker says, still contemplating how Magomed won. Congrats on getting that bag. Yeah, congrats, Luke. You had that Magomed Ankalaev pick. I wish I tailed just a little bit, even threw like $5 on him, but I didn't. I'm a dumbass. Thank you, brother. Luke says, I'm looking at this upcoming card, and am I crazy for thinking AJ Cunningham is a live dog at plus 500? Time change got me fucked up. Well, Luke, speaking of this, I mean, we just went over this week's wins. Let's go over the picks for UFC Fight Night. Vettori versus Dolidze 2. This is the second time that they're fighting. I did not put number 2 on the graphic because I'm stupid. But yeah, this is the second time that Vettori and Dolidze will be fighting, for those that do not know. Now, the first time that they fought, Marvin Vettori won by unanimous decision. This was in London, England. Okay, this was March 18th of 2023. This is why Marvin Vettori is one of my picks for this card. Same philosophy I had on the Justin Gaethje win. He beat him before, he's going to beat him again. Marvin Vettori to beat Roman Dolidze. Okay, my other picks on the card, real quick before I get into the rest of it. Chidi Bang, Chidi Njokuani. Okay, Chidi Njokuani. He's taking on Mauricio Zaleski dos Santos. I think he's a live dog. He's very big. He can fight at middleweight or welterweight, so don't forget his size advantage on Zaleski dos Santos. Yeah. And Zaleski dos Santos coming off of a win of Zach Scroggin, but lost to Randy Brown and went to a draw with Renat Fakhretdinov. Hasn't picked up a solid win since June of 2023 over Abubakar Nurmagomedov and the win over Benoit Saint Denis in October 30th of 2021. So I don't really have a lot of faith in him, but Chidi Bang, my guy on a 2-fight win streak, taking out Reese McKee and Jared Gordon, both decision wins. He was on a 3-fight losing streak prior, but it was Michael Oleksiejczuk, Albert Duraev, what was Duraev's nickname? The Hitman or whatever, or the Mercenary, something like that. And then Gregory Rodriguez, RoboCop. Like, it was a pretty crazy lineup to go face. But he beat guys like Marc-Andre Barriel and Dusko Todorovic. So Chidi Bang still alive. I think he's going to win this fight. Long story short. Then I got Damon Blackshear. I think he's going to get a nice win this Saturday. I think he beats Cody Gibson. Cody Gibson really big for the bantamweight class, but I don't think those advantages are going to work against Damon Blackshear. To be honest, I think Damon Blackshear is going to lean on his wrestling and his ground game, and he's going to take Cody to the mat and keep him there. And then my last pick for you guys is Ryan Spann at heavyweight. I think he's going to beat Waldo Cortez Acosta. He doesn't have many threats anywhere. He's not really a world beater anywhere. Ryan Spann can always lean on his ground game and his wrestling and his clinch work. So I think Ryan Spann could get the win. Also, he's a great jab. So I think Ryan Spann gets the dubber. Now, Luke was talking about, who the fuck were you talking about, Luke? You said somebody was a live dog. Oh, AJ Cunningham against Yusu Young. I actually do think AJ is a live dog. AJ definitely has the wrestling. Anybody with wrestling in their back pocket could definitely win. So I think AJ Cunningham at plus 500. I'd throw a little sprinkle on him. I'm not afraid of that. Mama ain't raised no bitch. I'm ready for that. So let's go. Let's see these comments. Yo, Luke, you bastard. I think I'm taking the Dolidze. I'm taking Dolidze or the over in a parlay. I'm undecided. If he's plus money, it's worth a shot. First fight was unanimous decision for Vettori, but majority of media members scored it for Dolidze. I also scored it for Dolidze. I was pissed. If that's how you feel, that's how you feel. But people also kind of said that about the Fiziev fight and said Gaethje's takedown is what secured the first fight. So who knows? Bruh, Chidi gonna lose. Hey, I guess we're about to find out on Saturday, won't we? Daddy Dolidze bringing that big father energy to fight. I hope he does. Usually when these guys just, have their first kid and, start feeling that dad energy, they usually do well for themselves. So Dolidze is a live dog. I hope he's the underdog so I can find a reason to put money on him, because if he's not, my money's not going with him. Fight 2. Good point, Lazy. Is he undefeated as a dad? He has a child now. I'm not calling him daddy, FYI. I think so, MCM. He's plus 125 right now. Okay, so yeah, I might throw some money on him. I'll throw some money on Dolidze. At plus money for sure. I'll sprinkle a little bit on him, but this fight is definitely going the distance. I would take both guys by decision and make money either way. I think that's the best bet here. No super chat option. Waterweed. Yeah, I still got to get up. I need to get my subs up. I'm only at 280, guys. So please don't forget to like and subscribe. If you don't like and subscribe, I ain't gonna make it up there, yo. I ain't gonna get no super chats. I ain't gonna get no money in the bank, no advertisements. Okay, I'm just gonna be fucking lowly grunt over here. So please get your burner accounts up, start liking and subscribing. I appreciate you when you do. But yeah, that's it for me. That's the end of this show, yo. That's it. I'm out this piece. I'm about to go eat some breakfast. Well, lunch now. I'm about to go eat some lunch. Thank you to everybody that cashed. Appreciate everybody that tailed and cashed on this. You're welcome. I'm gonna come up with another one for next week so we can all make some more fucking money. Get them burners up. Main Card Minute already knows. Get them burners up. All right. I want to see them. Shout out to our sponsor, W.GG. Oh, yo, sponsors, hit me up. What the fuck, man? I ain't got no sponsors. Hit me up. I want money too. Hit me up. Free advertising over here. Yo, when I get big enough and you guys are starting to hit me up, I'm like, you know what? I don't want you. I don't want you as one of my affiliates. I think I'm gonna go to somewhere that cherishes me. So think about that, sponsors. Think about that. Think about motherfucking that. Good show, dude. Thank you, Lazy. I appreciate you. Appreciate Lazy, Saul, Main Card Minute, Melker, everybody that showed up today, everybody that liked and subscribed. I will be back later this week. We will be doing a CP units. Dolidze and Vettori are both in the game. So hell yeah, we about to get it. You got to hit up our boys Hand Wraps and get that paper sponsor on One More Round Fights. Hey, you ain't wrong, but maybe they should hit me up. NW Lukeness Monster, salute, bro. Salute to everybody that came through, watch the show. Appreciate you all. And I'll see you guys throughout the week. Let's get it. Let's get some more money next Saturday. I don't like Saturdays unless I make money. I don't like them unless I make money. So let's do that shit again. All right. Have a good Sunday. Enjoy basketball or whatever the hell you do with the rest of your Sunday. And peace.